just announced a new stimulus package. And no, this is not the stimulus package they are currently working on, but rather it is a brand new stimulus package. Let's get into it as I have all the details for you in this video. But if you haven't done so yet, or if you happen to be new here, make sure to hit the subscribe button right down below the video so I can keep you updated each and every day with all of this information that continues to change every single day. I know it's very confusing out there, but don't worry, I'm doing all the research. I distill it all down into these condensed videos that I deliver a few times each and every day so that you can stay tuned with all the latest updates as they are being released. So again, thank you so much for joining me. I truly do appreciate it. Subscribe down below if you haven't done so yet, and let's get into this right away. All right, so wow, this is actually a big announcement as another Democratic lawmaker is coming out urging Congress to pass yet again another stimulus package. All right, so let me clarify this because it is a little bit confusing with everything going on right now. So let me tell you what's actually going on and the difference between this announcement versus the current stimulus package that the Senate is working on right here, right now. Now, again, this is actually pretty cool. So let me tell you the little bit of a difference here. So the current package that Congress is working on right now is also known as a stimulus package. Otherwise, they do call it the spending bill, human infrastructure, anti-poverty plan, soft infrastructure, or the Build Back Better agenda. Those are all different names that have been used to describe the current package that the Senate is working on right now. This is the one that was announced way back in April of 2021, and they've been working on this thing literally for 8 months or more. It's been a very, very long time. It's sitting in the Senate right now, and it's about $2 trillion. This is not the package that we're talking about in this video, so I wanted to clarify. That is one package. That's the Build Back Better agenda. However, this next one is a COVID relief bill that is being introduced by one of the Democratic lawmakers in the House of Representatives. Again, a totally separate bill. So let's talk about the differences here because there's actually a very, very big difference. Let me lay this out. So the package that was passed back in March of 2020, the CARES Act, that was a COVID relief bill, $2.2 trillion, and it contained a $1,200 stimulus check. The package that was passed in December of 2020, again, a $900 billion COVID relief bill. The package that was passed in March of 2021, $1.9 trillion that contained a $1,400 stimulus check, yet again, a COVID relief bill. And I think I forgot to mention about stimulus package number 2, the one that was $900 billion. Yes, that did also contain a $600 stimulus check and was deemed as a COVID relief bill. So you kind of see the trend here? Yeah, well, this lawmaker is calling on yet again another COVID relief bill now that we have over 800,000 COVID deaths in the United States, as well as the new Omicron variant that is here in the United States, and basically for people forecasting that we're probably going to see another huge surge coming this winter here. So kind of interesting. Do you see the difference between the Build Back Better agenda, the one that the Senate is just virtually sitting on right now, and then the other COVID relief bills that were passed early 2020, late 2020, and early 2021. There's a common trend between all of them. There's a lot of stimulus money in there, and yes, they all do contain stimulus checks. So this is actually pretty interesting how this is going down. So here's what's happening. A lot of lawmakers are looking at the current situation right now, and on one side of the spectrum, some people are saying, we're fine, the economy's doing great, we're roaring along, everybody's fine, everybody's flush with cash, everybody's doing just fine, which is honestly not the case. We all know that here. It's very obvious in this community that is simply not the case. However, on the other side of the spectrum, we have some people in Congress who are coming out saying, we need a lot more money to infuse this economy because we see more things coming like this new COVID variant. We see other, potentially other threats that are coming out there right now, other things that are going on where we need to infuse the economy with cash. People are struggling and we need to get more money out there. So that ultimately comes down to where this next COVID relief package, stimulus package, is actually being introduced. So Wow. Anyway, so with that being said, I want to bring my wife in, Corey. She's going to read an article to you. This is where I got this from. This is actually from CNN Politics. Again, you can feel free to look it up yourself, but this is what Corey's going to read to you is the exact article of this one lawmaker talking about this new COVID relief bill, and here's how things get started. Every single time that anything gets started like this, it's usually one lawmaker, a small handful of lawmakers. It's a variety of different people. Maybe it's 1, 5, 50, 100, whatever it happens to be, that comes out with a great idea that, hey, we need to infuse some cash into the economy and into the pockets of people, and that's how these stimulus packages are born. So even though it's one lawmaker right now, that is literally how they all start, right? It's one idea in the mind of one person, and then it just starts running from there because it gets more support from more and more people. So with that being said, I'm going to bring my wife in. I would highly recommend listening to this if you'd like. Otherwise, you're welcome to look it up yourself if you want to read it yourself. But anyway, Corey will read this article to you, and you can see right here the push for an additional stimulus package. Absolutely amazing. I didn't really see this one coming, but wow. I mean, seriously, right? So a lot more money potentially going to be pumped out here relatively soon if they do decide to go forward with this. And I would not be surprised one bit if we see a bunch of lawmakers jump on this bandwagon and decide, hey, this is what we need to do right now, especially as the Build Back Better agenda in the Senate is pretty much stalled out, right? We know that it's been stalled out for a while now, and who knows what's actually going to happen with that thing. But if they can get onto another COVID relief bill, that might be kind of a gravy situation for a lot of us because it may have additional money in there in the form of stimulus checks. So anyway, I'm not going to come back after Corey reads this just because there's no need for me to come back. I want to be respectful of your time, so I'm going to let Corey take it away, and I'll catch you again later in the next video. I hope that you can listen to this because this is going to lay it out right here what this lawmaker is saying. So, Corey, take it away, and I'll catch all of you again later. If you haven't done so yet, make sure to subscribe right down below. It's totally free to do so you don't miss any videos going forward as things are changing very rapidly, and you can feel free to check out any of the other nearly 2,000 videos. So with that being said, Corey, it's all yours, and I'll catch all of you later.
House Democrats call for Congress to pass another COVID relief package. By Ann Greer from CNN Politics. Representative Jamal Bowman, a progressive freshman Democrat from New York, is calling on Congress to pass another COVID-19 relief package as the country marks 800,000 deaths from the virus and the threat of an Omicron variant only grows. In a letter to House Democrat leadership, first shared with CNN, Bowman laid out why he believes another COVID relief package is necessary. We now lost 800,000 American lives to COVID-19, double the number we lost in World War II. This number is shocking and cannot continue to climb without another federal intervention, Bowman writes. Our defense budget is $770 billion a year, but we are not doing enough to defend ourselves against a global pandemic that is killing us directly and indirectly through the mental health crisis it has created. Bowman's call for more congressional action to address the pandemic comes 9 months after Congress passed its latest relief package. In the $1.9 trillion bill, Congress provided stimulus checks, an enhanced child tax credit, unemployment assistance, direct aid to states and municipalities, nutrition assistance, housing aid, tax credits for families and workers, investments in education and child care, and health insurance subsidies. But most of these programs have deadlines for when they run out of funding and the pandemic continues to persist. Bowman outlines that the new emergency supplement should specifically address how the pandemic is affecting children and their mental health by including a bereavement fund for children who lost a primary or secondary caregiver due to COVID-19 related reasons, the cancellation of federal student loans, the cancellation of housing-related debt for past due rent and mortgage payments, the reinstatement of an eviction moratorium and foreclosure moratorium, and renewed funding in education, among other provisions. The pandemic has and will continue to change us for years to come. We need to take action now, and the surest way to do that in Congress is to exercise our power of the purse and direct much-needed funds to our children, families, and communities, he adds. The push from Bowman also comes as Congress has engaged in new spending on multiple fronts amid a long list of legislative agenda items still on its calendar. Congress recently passed a $1.2 trillion bipartisan infrastructure bill and is in the process of trying to secure a separate $1.75 trillion social safety net bill, though its exact price tag could change amid negotiations in the Senate. The chamber is also facing increased pressure to pass a sweeping elections and voting bill that has already passed the House. When the March stimulus package passed, many Democrats said that more government action would be needed to shore up the economy, aid in the recovery and deliver relief to Americans who continue to be hurt by the pandemic. U.S. Secretary of Health and Human Services told reporters on Tuesday that his department might need more money from Congress, as it has $10 billion left in federal relief funds for testing from the $50 billion made available by Congress back in March. Of the $50 billion that was made available for testing, there's still about $10 billion that we have. Are we going to have more than $10 billion worth of needs and costs on COVID, especially in regards of testing? There's a strong chance we will, depending on, again, where Omicron takes us. And so that gives you some sense about where those monies are, Bakura said. I don't know whether we'll need more money or not, but what I can tell you is that if we have Omicron the way we've had Delta, you can see the sort of thing where it goes.